Welcome to the Two Bitter Babes podcast. Join Kimmy and Angela as they work to mend their tattered hearts. Get ready to get uncomfortable, because these two bitter besties are diving right in.
All right, so here's an episode we recorded a couple of months ago, but we were kind of depressed, so we didn't do anything about it. And then we're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a good one. So get comfortable with the uncomfortable, because this is worth a listen.
Here we go. Last week, you were like, yeah, I don't know if this should be an episode, because we both by the end were like, wah, wah, you know? And then today, I'm like, well, this is going to be another one. Like, this is beyond Two Bitter Babes. We're like two depressed dummies. But we're not the only ones who feel like this. And there's a lot of toxic positivity going on. And maybe people need to be like, I feel like that too. Right?
Yeah.
Especially if we do get out of this, we will have recorded our process, you know? Like, it is possible to go from, I can't do this, I'm too tired, I'm too scared.
What we've been talking about is how scared we are to get jobs, not get jobs, move, not move. I just remember being so young in my teens and just being fearless. Like, I had a penny to my name, eating like top ramen because I'm so poor, you know, but just fearless and happy, I guess, or having fun. I don't know. I mean, acid was only $2 or $3.
Yeah, can't afford to be happy right now.
Yeah, it was like so cheap. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing. And, you know, I keep talking about going cross country, and then I'm like looking at jobs, and I'm just afraid not to get a job. I'm afraid to keep this job that I'm just so bored at. It's okay. It's just,
yeah,
it is a good job for me to figure out what I want to do, but I'm not figuring out what I want to do.
Do you feel like you get any insights anytime toward what you want to do? Like, maybe you don't know what you want to do, but do you ever get like moments of clarity between?
Yeah, because I'm processing. But anyway, so like I said, I applied for more jobs today, even though I don't want a new one until after this vacation, but I'm afraid that they won't be there when I get back. But it's like such an unnecessary fear. And then it's like, well, where do I want to be when I get back? Or what if I get these jobs and then I don't go at all? It's just so fucked up.
When I think like that, that's when I literally get paralyzed by fear, like so afraid to make
any
decision, a choice. Like, our lives are depending on it. But I do think maybe those jobs won't be there, but something else will be there. There's always something available.
Yeah. I think I'm too old to be a sex worker.
You know, I've been wondering about it. Everyone has their kinks.
You've been wondering about it.
Maybe we don't even have to. Maybe we could just do like those OnlyFans or something.
Sell it underwear. I've heard a lot of women do that. They just like show them that they wore the underwear and then they sell it.
I mean, people make a lot of money. I just don't even know how to get started, though.
I just don't want to feel like, is this it? Is this it? Is this my life? But I don't think it is going to be, this is it just for us, because like I was saying, we really don't want this to just be it.
Yeah. And I think we're too young to give up. And that's what I was going to say. One thing that helps me sometimes is that I realize that every time I've said to myself, I'm too tired, I'm too injured, I don't have the energy, I'm losing hope, I'm succumbing to depression, whatever it is. And then I have my pity party and I get into bed, you know, and then after like a couple days, I'm like, all right, well, guess I'll get back to it. I mean, how long can I stay there?
Guess I'll just get out of this bed now.
Yeah.
I'll separate my butt from these sheets. And
because I know there were times like after my marriage first ended, I literally would stay all weekend in bed. Like, I would just get up to go to the bathroom, maybe get a bite to eat, and that's it. I just was so exhausted and I was in so much like emotional pain. that like, I think I needed all my energy to do my work, because when I went to work, I didn't show that. Right. So I like contained it all. And then I was just like a mess on the weekends in bed. I'd be crying, drinking my wine right out of the bottle. Watching sitcoms, that helped because I got to laugh when I watched the sitcoms.
Well, for me, it's hard for me to stay in bed just because I ruminate too much. And it starts driving me crazy. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And that's the one thing I was telling my therapist I hope this drive does, is like, I just want, it's actually gotten better, but I just really just want it to stop. I can't listen to myself anymore.
I couldn't even listen to my podcast or anything because I'd be listening and then I'd be like, I didn't even hear a word they said because I was ruminating, right? So I literally would listen to whatever, a show that I've already seen, so I didn't have to watch it, but it's like Seinfeld, 30 Rock, whatever. And I would just be driving and just cracking up. And because I could remember what the situations were, right? And I would just be laughing. And that was the only thing that worked, was like comedy. I couldn't read anything serious. I couldn't listen to anything serious because I would just start thinking about whatever. But yeah, comedy saved my life.
Getting stoned.
Thanks, comedians.
Thanks, dispensaries.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Mother Nature.
Thank you for saving my life. But yeah, all that stuff I did last year really helped me a lot. This year, I just completely stopped. And just so weird that I hit this wall. I was gone, baby, last year. I mean, I knew I was fucked up, but at least I was getting out and doing stuff. And now I'm just like,
yeah. Well, you say it's weird. And I just want to remind you that it's normal. I mean, it seems weird if we think that healing is linear, but when we realize it's just a winding path.
We dancing with my partner earlier really helped.
That's great.
Well, he's funny when he dances because it's funny.
So there's the comedy. You got the music moving your body. Yeah, that's really good. I forget to do that sometimes. Like when I wake up and turn music on and just like dance while I'm doing whatever, it feels so much better. But sometimes I don't even think to do that.
I know, this just can't be it. I was just thinking that earlier today too, and I was bumming out. I was like, this can't be it.
Please.
Where's my book that I've been wanting to write? Where's my dramedy that I want to have on Netflix? Why can't I get to that space where I can get the stuff that I want to do done?
Because you know how much energy it takes to birth something. That's why I had to get this job. I was like, I cannot do my business. I literally cannot make something out of nothing right now. You know, I hope in the future I will, because when I was doing it, that made me feel like the sky's the limit. At a job, no, there's a lot of limits. I hope that I can get to the point where I can start a business.
Yeah, I want to get to that place where I can write my book.
Yeah, because it's so good what you have so far.
Yeah, or my screenplay too.
That was fun when I was up there and go to the coffee shop.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I wish divine intervention would just fucking intervene. Like,
hello.
Throw me a bone, universe. Grief. We were really both not feeling it that day. We were both feeling pretty depressed.
Yeah.
Just life and all the lemons being flung at us. Can't make lemonade fast enough. And we decided, screw it. We're not the only depressed people in the world.
Well, yeah, because I didn't want to do it. And as you can hear in the recording, my nose is stuffy because I was crying. And you're just like, let's just record it anyway. Maybe something will come of it. And, thank you for that. Because I tend to want to just withdraw and isolate when I get depressed.
And as I was saying earlier, that meme of where he was saying you just need 8 minutes of your support person's time. Just 8 minutes is all it takes. And look, we were laughing.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling depressed or anybody out there is feeling depressed, reach out and just say, I'm depressed. I need to just talk to somebody. And we weren't really going over a whole lot of what was making us depressed. We were just talking, and then we just ended up laughing. That was really good. And it ended up being a really good time, actually.
I always end up having a really good time with you.
I know.
And we were laughing because before he's like, why didn't you let me know? And she's like, I did let you know. And she had texted him, hey, do you want to come over? But he's like, well, how was I to know? That was different from any other time that you invited me over. So they came up with the code word. But we had already come up with our code, which is like,
Yes, we did. I texted you with it.
Do you feel like talking to a depressed person?
Yeah.
And then you called me right away. And then like, I don't know, a few days later or the next week or whatever it was, you texted me, do you feel like talking to a depressed person?
I was like, it was specifically, you had texted, you can call me if you feel like talking to a depressed person.
Oh, that's right. Call me if you feel like talking to, because I didn't want to call you if like you're at work and I'm depressed and like if you didn't have the capacity to be able to listen to me, so just like call me if you feel like talking to a depressed person.
And I think a few days later I was like, call me if you feel like talking to a depressed person.
Yeah. So whether, you guys out there, whether you want to use do you have 8 minutes, or call me if you feel like talking to a depressed person, or come up with your own code word or phrase that you can text to those that you trust to be vulnerable with.
And that's the thing too. Who you can trust.
Yeah.
You have to find those people you can trust, because you are being vulnerable.
Yes. A lot of people don't reach out because they don't want to be a burden. They don't want to be a downer. My brother, I kept encouraging him to create a support system of people that he could call, but he just couldn't do it. He was so ashamed. He was so self-conscious. And it's like, you know what? My advice to everybody who's listening right now, do it anyway. Even if you feel ashamed, reach out. Even if you feel embarrassed, reach out. Even if you are afraid of being a burden, reach out. It's
because you're not.
Find people that
are not a burden.
No, you're not.
Yes, you're not a burden. You are not alone.
Yeah.
Many, many people feel that way. I mean, there's so many times where you and I, either you or I, or you and I both are like in such a slump.
Yeah.
But just talking to each other about it, and then we just end up laughing.
Yes. Well, sometimes I like how we can be each other's sounding boards, because sometimes I'm talking to you and I'm like, I don't see any way out of this. And then by the end of it, I'm like, okay, maybe there is hope. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel a little lighter. And that helps, because that's important to interrupt.
Also that thought process.
Yes. To interrupt that thought process. Yeah.
And just be like, that's some stinking thinking, lady.
It's understandable, but it can be dangerous. You
can spiral. You can
spiral, and I don't want to. I don't want you to. I don't want anybody to spiral beyond help. It happens way too often in our world, unfortunately.
People just become hopeless, and I can see how they get there. I get it.
Yeah.
I can see how you can get to hopelessness, and that's the scary place to be.
Yeah.
If you're feeling that way, that is a dangerous place to be, and you really need to reach out for help.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. Our society doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah. And if you don't have a safe person to be vulnerable with, because there's a lot of people who are not trustworthy with your vulnerability, that's what mental health services are for. Now, since COVID made it like, now there's telehealth and stuff like that. So you don't have to go somewhere. You can actually do it virtually. And if that's even too much, it could be a phone call, if you don't want to be seen on the screen.
And there are crises phone numbers. I've called one. I've called a crisis hotline.
Yes.
I sure have.
Yes.
All my shit hit the fan, because you do feel really alone. And like you said, you don't want to be a burden. Or sometimes there was just a point, maybe I couldn't get a hold of anybody.
Yeah.
And it's kind of critical. Yeah. So do reach out, especially when you get into that really dark place. And reaching out, it could be, maybe it's not your really close friend that you thought you could trust. Maybe that's not the person. Maybe, just be open to, maybe it's just your coworker, or could be your mentor or your supervisor, or, grandma or somebody. It may not always be the person you know what I mean?
I do. And as a matter of fact, you mentioned you called the crisis line. I called the crisis line. And this person was a great listener, was so compassionate. And the thing I appreciated about it is, because it's scary, like, oh, I'm going to call and talk to a stranger, but they had no idea who I was talking about, what my situation was. They had no judgment. They weren't involved. They didn't have their own baggage with the people involved. So it actually was kind of freeing to talk to somebody.
Because
like
they didn't know,
I don't know how
background. They didn't know That's
anything except for just how I was feeling at that moment. Yeah.
Non-judgmental. They don't know what's really going on. They don't know you. They've never met you. And sometimes that's kind of nice.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Sometimes it's kind of nice. And that's what I'm saying. So sometimes it may not be your close friend that you really want to go to, but there is someone out there. There is someone out there that will listen to you.
Yeah.
There is somewhere, but just please look for that person. Please reach out.
Yeah.
And call those numbers if you need to. I don't know. You're in California. I'm in Washington. I don't know if it's the same number, but we can always post that as well.
A great thing is, I love this healthcare sheet when I was studying trauma recovery coaching. So first you start with like, what do you do if you're feeling activated? Like, what are some things you like to do? Write it down, right? So I wrote down, I love to make a fragrant cup of tea, or I like to sit with my cats, and then it was escalating, like, okay, if that's not working, what's your next step? What's your next step? And then at the end, there's these hotlines. It's helpful to write down or type it up in a doc or whatever. There's national hotlines, state hotlines, county, and your city. So,
oh, wow.
So you can find out what are all the hotlines? Because like you said, we have friends, but sometimes people are not available.
Right.
For whatever reason. They're at work. They're at, I don't know, whatever.
People got busy lives.
Yeah.
And it's not also, like they don't want to help you. They just don't know at the moment that you need help, and they're at work or at school or whatever.
What we've learned is that these trustworthy people, it's like usually a core group of people. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to go through my Rolodex and start calling everybody. No. Your support system can be a mix of like trusted friends, trusted family, and like you said, mentor, trusted coworkers, therapist if you have one, and then crisis hotline. So have your system from like who's your first go-to. What do you do if that's not available? What do you do if that's not available?
And again, I just need to emphasize this so much because of not listening to my intuition for so many years during my marriage, is that go with your gut. If you feel like who you're talking to and it doesn't feel good for whatever reason, you may not be able to pinpoint that reason. Doesn't matter. Just go with it and be like, this is not the person that I want to talk to. And then you might meet a stranger where you just feel like they're just going to listen to everything you're saying. And it feels really good to talk to them. And this might be someone you never even met before in your life. Could be someone you're sitting on the bus bench and all of a sudden you're just like, bleh.
And that you may never see again.
Yeah. Someone you may never see again.
Those are miraculous interactions. And I've been on both sides of them, where somebody was there for me with just a compassionate word or just their presence. And then other times it has been me that I just happened to be in a place and was able to do or say or just be there. And it's like, well, I always think of that show, Joan of Arcadia, where God, that song, what if God was one of us? And so the show was like God would appear to her as like the lunch lady, a little girl on the street, a homeless person, an old man, whatever. And that's what it feels like. It's like angels on this earth, right? Guardian angels in human form. And it's just, I don't know, I'm very grateful for those moments.
Yeah. And just again, listen to your intuition.
Well, once again, I love getting together with you, my friend.
And I know you were having a rough day today, too. You were not able to keep up with the lemonade, all the lemons coming at you, but...
Freaking lemons.
And then you're
Anybody
smiling
need some
now.
lemons? I have way too many.
Yeah. They're like bombing.
I know. When I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh.
Bombed by lemons. And you like, can't even forget it. I can't even keep up with this damn lemonade.
Oh.
That's when you got to cut that lemon in half and just smash it in someone's face, man. There's some people, and I know one person that really deserves it. God, let me just deal with this lemonade I already have. I can't even sell it. What the hell?
I can't drink it fast enough.
You gotta set up my lemonade stand. Give me a freaking second.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
All right. Again, really good talking to you.
Very good talking to you. All right. Well, we are going to be putting out another episode soon in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll get one out eventually.
Thank you for listening to the Two Bitter Babes podcast. Please take a moment to follow, review, and share with your bitter besties. And remember, you are not alone.